What's going on, Kingdom Warriors? I hope you guys are all doing awesome, feeling blessed. So let's just start with a quick prayer. Father God, I just bless you, I honor you, I praise you, glorify your holy name. I just ask you to bless every viewer, Lord, that you will give them clarity, that you would help them understand your purpose and will for their life, and that you would just look over their families and put a hedge of protection around them in Jesus' name. Also, we're going to put on the armor of God, the helmet of salvation. We put on the breastplate of righteousness. We take up the shield of faith. We take up the sword of the Spirit. We put on the belt of truth. We put on the shoes of the preparation of the gospel of peace. We put on the cloak of zeal, garments of vengeance, and we pray in the Spirit without ceasing. All right, guys. So I know I mentioned in one of my last videos that I wanted to get back into my vision that I had. It was actually a dream where the bull was just bucking and going crazy in a middle-class neighborhood, because I feel like I have a lot more insight into that now. And just as I was getting ready for this video a little bit, I'm even more convinced. So first, if you have not seen that video, I'll just recap it very quickly. So I had a dream. My wife and I were standing on the sidewalk in like a very cookie cutter type of looking town. It was very clearly like a middle-class neighborhood, nice neighborhood, manicured front lawns, fenced in. And out on one of those fenced in front lawns, a huge bull started bucking and going crazy. He broke through the wooden fence, got in the street, and just started bucking down the street toward us wildly. Um, as the bull started to get near us, someone that was dressed in it was a football player. He had the helmet on and everything. He jumped on the bull and began to get him back under control. And he calmed the bull down, and he was attempting to get him back into the yard and kind of shut the gate. It was broken, but just get him back in where he was at. And he pretty much was starting to get him in there, got him completely under control. And at the last moment, when he was about to put him away, the bull did a literal backflip. And as he did that, he landed on his feet, but he threw off it was an NFL player that was on the bull, and the dream was over. Now, when I made that video, a lot of you guys helped me kind of come up with some theses of what it might have meant, but I believe now putting some things together. So the NFL preseason started July 31st of this year, right? Bull market started a swing high. Bitcoin did a swing high that started on August 1st, and it reached a new all-time high August 11th, which is actually 111. I thought that was interesting too. So the NFL preseason starts July 31st. The very next day, the bull market starts to swing high, and over the next 11 days reaches a new all-time high. After that, it comes crashing back down, right? And since then, it's kind of been in a lull. But as you guys may have seen, there's a lot of confluence about why it looks like we're about to enter into another run. So I actually believe that that dream was probably signifying a time such as this. And the reason why I wanted to bring it up is because when that bull flipped the rider off, it went absolutely insane, like 10 times harder than it was initially. It was like a supernatural, everything was shaking. It was very powerful. And I think it's indicating that the timing of it could potentially be the NFL preseason that just started, especially being that we saw that all-time high, and then the market has simmered down since then. And then there's also a lot of confluence with prophetically, we had 3 events in the heavens, right? My birthday was actually August 29th. I just turned 40. On my birthday, there was something called a black moon, which was less talked about, but I did see that on the news. Shortly after that, we had, I believe, a blood moon, and then we had a eclipse event, right? All leading into Rosh Hashanah, which is going to be Monday at sundown through Wednesday night at sundown. So I'm not necessarily saying Rosh Hashanah is going to be an event. It may be. That happens a lot of times, but I do think overall we are in that season. Just looking back at the time of that dream, I just thought it was really interesting the way everything kind of matches up now in terms of all those things. And then another interesting thing is I'm in a Patreon, and it's the one for Money on the Move with Phil. And Phil mentioned recently that you can time between every Bitcoin cycle, it's like it falls within a very tight amount of days, like within a 15-day window, something like that. I can't remember the exact number, but he was showing it as he charted all the Bitcoin cycles. And when he charted it from the last one to this one, it fell within the same window, which was kind of like, September to kind of December time frame. So there's that, and there's a lot of other confluences, but I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So that's something you guys can kind of be aware of if it wasn't already on your radar. Another thing, separate that also kind of is making me feel strongly about this season we're going into is the number 37. If you watch a lot of my videos, and somewhere buried in there, I've spoken before about how significant the number 37 is to me. It's probably the clearest I have ever heard the Lord speak to me, and I never knew what it meant. At the time, I thought it was my age. When I was 37, so about 3 years ago, I was praying on the side of my bed. This is when I first began to start to hear from the Lord more clearly. And I heard him say very clearly, first he asked me what my favorite number is. I said, 7. He said, what's your other favorite number? I said 3. He said, flip it around. I said 37. And he said, after 37, things will never be the same. Now, I've been trying to decode that and pray into that for years. And when I turned 38, nothing really happened, right? And then I'm 39, but I've continued to pray into it. And just over the last year, I began to get a lot of revelation. Something that I don't know why I didn't think of this before, but something that just hit my radar like, I don't know, 3 months ago I noticed that the US debt was at 36 trillion. And I'm like, that's gotta be. Now, I know it does not have one meaning. It's definitely layered, but I have begun to see 37 everywhere. Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night and it's 237, 330, whatever, I see 37s everywhere. And lately I've begun to see, when I look at the clock, it's 37 switching to 38, which, the phrase he told me was after 37, things will never be the same. So I often see that too, either the number 37 or it's switching to 38. But I'd say maybe it was there's a US debt clock that you can download. It's free. And I have that on my phone, and it just switched to, can't show you because I'm recording with my phone, but it just switched to 37 on that, like maybe a week and a half ago. It's like 37,000,008, million or something. So that's interesting too. If you're a trader, you understand confluence. Is the more confluence you can find when you have a theory, the more indicators you can put on and they're all saying the same thing, the more confidence there is. And there's just a ton of confluence with the season that we're in. And I could go on and on about the 37 thing. Another thing I'll mention, well, I'll go through a list of them. I forgot I wrote some stuff down here. So the debt clock was the first thing, right? Also Psalms 37. When I read that, it's literally talking about the great and terrible day of the Lord, right? And I don't think that's a coincidence either. So it starts off like this, right? It says, don't worry about the wicked or envy those who do wrong. For like grass, they soon fade away. Like spring flowers, they soon wither, right? It says, trust in the Lord and do good. Then you will live safely in the land and prosper. Take delight in the Lord and he will give you your heart's desires. Commit everything to the Lord. Trust him and he will help you. He will make your innocence radiate like the dawn, and the justice of your cause will shine like the noonday sun. Be still in the presence of the Lord and wait patiently for him to act. Don't worry about the evil people who prosper or fret about their wicked schemes. Stop being angry. Turn from your rage. Do not lose your temper. It only leads to harm. For the wicked will be destroyed, but those who trust in the Lord will possess the land. Soon the wicked will disappear. Though you will look for them, they will be gone. The lowly will possess the land and will live in peace and prosperity. The wicked plot against the godly. They snarl at them in defiance. But the Lord just laughs, for he sees their day of judgment coming. The wicked draw their swords and string their bows to kill the poor and the oppressed, to slaughter those who do right. But their swords will stab their own hearts and their bows will be broken. It is better to be godly and have little than to be evil and rich. For the strength of the wicked will be shattered, but the Lord takes care of the godly. And that's about half of it. I highly suggest you guys read Psalms 37, but it's very clearly speaking about the wealth transfer, in my opinion, and the great and terrible day of the Lord. It talks a lot about, well, just read it. It's definitely worth it, but I don't want to make this video too long. But also Ezekiel 37 talks about a very similar thing. I mentioned the 3 solar events. I mentioned the Bitcoin cycle. Also, if you guys are familiar with, there's an indicator that it's like a slider. And on one side it says Bitcoin season, one side it says altcoin season. I just noticed today that it's like pretty much all the way over to altcoin season, like 70 or 80%. And I have not seen that this entire cycle yet, really. So that's another indicator that it tracks a lot of different things of, the money flow and what's going on the exchanges. And so that's something you also want to pay attention to. Also, we saw the waves of the meme coins, mostly Wikicat. There was some action with BNB Tiger, but we kind of saw a wave hit those coins. And if you know Wikicat, like I've been in it for years, I've always believed, I just knowing God's character, I knew he would do something with that coin just because it would take faith to invest in it because it's created by a Nigerian and they have a reputation of being scammers. So I'm like, this is a faith thing for sure. And then when I looked into Sir Mappy, who is the creator of Wikicat, he's so transparent about everything. It was clear to me that he would be successful. He's like the hardest working developer I have ever seen. He has a ton of stuff built. Um, Actually, if you guys want to learn about crypto, he has an app that he developed called, if you go on the Apple App Store, I'm not sure if it's on the other one, it's called, I believe, the SMC DAO. Um, yeah, SMC, like Sam, Michael, Christmas, DAO, DAO. Look that up in the App Store. There's a section in there of like free material. You can learn about everything. I mean, how to read charts, there's all these articles, there's videos, stuff that you would pay for, like courses. It's all in there for free. This guy just wants to educate people. He's promoting other Christian coins. He's like a stand-up dude. I've been following him for years and, keeping track of his Twitter, the Telegram, and everything he has. So, but yeah, so as I mentioned, we're starting to see those waves as well. And just like in my dream, that wave really came in. So Wikicat went from maybe like 7 million market cap to 250. Then it came down and it's been floating around 100. So it reminds me of the dream, how, the bull started off, it came back down, and I think there will be another run. So the mean waves, yeah, so that kind of covers my point pretty much with the 37 and with the season that I think that we are in. And I think most of you guys know that for sure. But my main reason of really trying to drive it home is because you need to make sure you are praying like never before and staying close to the Lord. If you have not been through an altcoin season before, it's very tricky to navigate, and you're going to need divine wisdom, because if you're in the right coins, when those gains start to come in, it's difficult to have just the fortitude to cash out when you need to, because as quickly as they go up, they will go down as well. And it's really important to lock in profits. And the strategy I like a lot is, it depends on what you're doing, but in terms of the meme coins, which a lot of people invest in, it's good to kind of be in a few because they tend to kind of go up at separate times. And so when one goes up, you can kind of pull some profits from it and put one, that, because they tend to just kind of through. And I don't know how long this one will last, but it's quick. Historically, it's like 3 or 4 weeks, and then they crash hard. Now, this could be completely different this time because there's so much new regulation coming in and so much more bills and things that support the crypto industry. So I have a feeling it will look different than, before, but you just want to protect yourself. So keep that in mind and really try to be in the secret place and hearing from God. I know for me, I'm going to fast through Rosh Hashanah. So from sundown Monday to sundown Wednesday, I'm going to just use that as an opportunity to really kind of try to dig in and spend time with the Lord. And I find that he really speaks a lot oftentimes during his different feasts and things like that. Or, the New Year, which is what Rosh Hashanah is, the Jewish New Year. I also wanted to mention a couple of coins with you guys. That's something I never really liked to do for a number of reasons, but I think I got really turned off with the crypto videos because there's a lot of people that are always asking for price points. And I know that that's a dangerous thing because, well, you guys can kind of see it now. The way God is doing things, a price point is not going to get it for you, right? You're going to have to be led by him. And so that's why I always steered away from it. But I believe those of you that have that relationship for yourselves, you can take this to the Lord and you'll know what to do with it. But there's 2 coins I want to mention. I got a bonus for you guys. One is called Sanctuary Token. And I've actually not really heard anyone mention that before. You may have heard of it, but it's a very small market cap. Right now it is at about, I want to say 1.1 million, something like that. I've been in that one for over a year. I felt very strongly led by the Lord that that coin is going to do something. So take that to the Lord. But I actually, sometime after I discovered it, I saw in the Telegram that Robin Cunningham made a video about it actually as well. And there are a few prophetic voices that have made videos about it, but it's a very under the radar one. But that one I feel like is for me, but it might be for some of you guys as well. So definitely pray into it. Another one is XRPH, and that stands for XRP Healthcare. Now, oftentimes one of the themes to do well in these previous cycles has been whatever chain is doing well, the coins within it do well, right? So recently Solana has kind of been the highlighted chain. People really like it. There's a lot of building on there. So the tokens in that ecosystem have done really well. So that made me, knowing what XRP is going to do, I took a look at the XRP ecosystem, and there are several coins in there, but the one that made the most sense to me, Solo is another one, Sologenic, but XRP Healthcare really stood out to me because it is tied into a new healthcare system globally. They want to bring healthcare worldwide, and it's like a fully built company. They have CEOs that are from like other Fortune 500 companies, like a suite of people, like 8 people. I recommend you go to their website. They have an app, that one that has AI, another one that's like a wallet, but it has like a medical card built into it that you could use right now. It's like very much one of those things that's like when they flip the switch, it's going to be going. And that one only has a like a $4.5 million market cap, and there's only 100 million tokens, right? So you figure with a coin like that, when it goes to 100 million market cap, it's going to be $1 per token. Right now, it's about 4 cents per token, 4.5 cents. When it goes to 1 billion market cap, it's going to be $10 per token. I can guarantee you that this coin will go well over 1 billion, well over 10 billion, particularly when they start to use XRP. So that's one that, you know, it's a little tricky to find. I had to use my Palau ID, and I got it on BitTrue. But if you can get your hands on it, that will be a good one. Even if you get like $50 worth of it, I really think that's a good hold because it moves with XRP. So when XRP had that run recently, when it hit its all-time high, that XRPH went to like, I want to say like 30 or 35 cents. Right now it's at like 5. It came back down. And so it tends to kind of move with XRP. So you can imagine what it will do. Not only once XRP does a big move once and for all, but then once people start to realize what this company does with, you know, they want to bring healthcare to places like Africa that are impoverished and just worldwide. They do a lot. You have to do a deep dive on it. But that is good for, you know, I like meme coins and everything like that, but I think God is using them to put wealth in our hands, but it's also good to know about some projects that have like some good building behind it. And the last one I'll give you as a bonus is Flare. They have a massive amount of building they've been doing for a long time. I believe that that's going to be tied to XRP for sure. And so eventually, I'm just going to say what I believe. XRP is eventually going to be something that's only used for banks and custodial use. Now, they might grandfather it so that if you already have it, you can keep it, or you can like cash it out and get what it's worth. But Flare has it's called F assets. So essentially it's kind of like wrapping a token, like wrapped Bitcoin. It's not actual Bitcoin, but it mimics the price of Bitcoin. Very similar to USDT, Tether. It mimics the price of $1, although it's not a real dollar. So Flare has built this ecosystem where you can have like wrapped assets called F assets. And Flare, I believe, in XRP and the wrapped ecosystem is going to be important because when they finish building it, you're going to be able to wrap your XRP, right? So if you have real XRP, you put it in kind of like a vault, and then they give you the F assets. You can go into their ecosystem and you can do things like, you know, generate interest. You can borrow against it, which, as some of you guys may know, the wealthy, they always borrow against their assets. And that's going to be one of the key things that you'll be able to do with Flare. You don't pull your money out and create a taxable event. You borrow against it, right? Especially when you're generating a lot of interest otherwise. So that interest you're generating can pay off the loan. And so you're just taking out a loan. This is ideally what a lot of people like to do when you get to that point. You take out a loan, and then the interest you're generating pays off the loan. And you're never, ever really cashing out. And you're creating a stream of income. And then you can begin to do what God has called you to do and help people in a way that it's sustainable, just like the wealthy do. And, you know, these tricks that they have always used that they don't teach us in school. So don't get me started on that. All right. So, and the Flare ecosystem does a ton more stuff. I mean, that is like 5% of it. It's going to be, in my opinion, a really good project to have. You can also generate interest on Flare itself. They were doing like Flare drops for a while where they just drop in your account for holding it. But I think they're getting down to like the last 1 or 2 of those. But so those are 3 coins you can definitely look into. Getting on 20 minutes here, so I'm going to cut it short. But I hope this video blessed you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments and let me know what you guys want to hear a little bit more about. All right. Remember, you are all sons and daughters of the Most High God. So whatever you do, be royal, and I will catch you guys next time. Be blessed.